And one fish, two fish. And one fish, two fish. And the red dish, blue fish. And the one fish, two fish. And the one fish, comfortable. And the red dish, one fish, comfortable. And the one fish, dish, one fish. And the one fish, comfortable. Latency's a little low there. Let's see how we are. A little low there. Let's see how we are. A little low there. Latency's a little low there. Let's see how we are. A little low there. Echo should be gone. Low there. Latency's a little low there. Looking at echo somewhere. Is that YouTube? Echo should be gone. Yeah, YouTube's good too. All right. Yo, Zach, how are you doing? I know echo. That's what happens when I have both of the YouTube tab up and the Twitch tab up, and I'm talking at the same time. All of them have their volumes on. Okay, so I'm nearly done with this outfit. I'm actually doing all the stuff to get it submitted, and I'm still making my final tweaks. And then I decided, you know what I really need? I need rocket exhaust. So it's like I am like this close to hitting the submit button, and then I go, you know what? I need to add something. I'm dialing in and just doing the final checks on this. So just tweaking the D4 settings just a little bit, finding some things like I forgot to turn some things on here when I saved these. But we're going to make rocket exhaust. That's what we're going to do today. I don't need to save this. I'm going to I think I'm good with this. I have saved, I tweaked these settings here and I've got them saved here. I just have to reapply and resave all the tunics. That's only 6 files. And then I have to actually double check the tights. I have to save at least one of those and maybe 2 more. It's maybe another 8 files I have to resave. Other than that, we're done. Except for the fact I'm going to add out rocket exhaust. We're going to do that in Blender. And I'm going to rig that like, I'm going to set it up so it will by default look short, but it'll actually be long. And then you can make it really long and you can make it spin. So you can do cool effects. So the idea is I've got my main promo. We're over here. Yo, Antisocial, how are you doing? It's good to see you. So my main promo is looking like this. What I've decided is what I would really like to do is take an exhaust and kind of twirl it around a little bit. So also there's a morph, so I can angle that. So I'm going to redo this because we're going to add our little rocket exhaust effect. I think, unless it looks like crap, in which case we're done. But anyhow, we're going to work on rocket exhaust, and I'm going to be a long tube, and it's going to be rigged with, I want to say like 40 parts, maybe 30 parts. Maybe we do 30 parts. I'm thinking, yeah, I think. And we're going to give it an outer core and an inner core that we can do different textures on. And then I'm going to parent it to this. So if it looks horrible, we'll get rid of it. In the meantime, so I got to go to Blender. Did I not? Did I just do file new and then this open up by accident? No, I don't want to save that. I may have inadvertently saved my startup file with this sitting in it. In which case, I'm well, thanks. Good to see ya. It's always a pleasure to catch you in a chat somewhere. Are we done? We're done. So I'm just going to get a rocket pack in here. I'm going to set it up to 0. And then we're going to pop over to Blender. I suppose I should. I'm going to set up the rocket. The exhaust is right there. Oh, my brain has stopped. So come over here. Just we were Get that in here. That is way up there. So I'm going to come over here. I think if I just zero you out, and yes, I mean zero. That always drives me in. That is just always the F out of me. The rocket pack actually is zeroed up there. So I'm just going to move this kind of down here. I'll center it up a little bit better in Blender, but I'm just going to export that out. This is just for reference. Well, you really aren't zeroed up, are you? Oh, you probably are rotated a little bit, aren't you? You are. You know, when I said zero, I actually meant zero. For some reason, when I zeroed it out, it decided not to actually zero it. That's Daz just being Daz. All right, I'm going to export that out. We're going to work off of this to build an exhaust on it. It's going to start as maybe, basically, I'm going to make a cylinder. We're going to close an end down. So it's going to kind of be a cone. Actually, I'm going to start off with it. 2 cylinders, then I want to close it, then I want to open it back up again. I think it's the way I'm going to do this. Yeah, we're going to work on it as just a cylinder. Then we're going to close the end off later. I think. Or maybe I'm just not going to. I was thinking of making a morph at the end that'll expand or contract. I'm thinking, well, let's get this exported out and then we'll go into Blender and make the exhaust, start the exhaust. And I have to decide, you know what, I probably am going to work on it as a couple of cylinders. Then we're going to make a morph that'll just taper it down to a point at the end. I think that's the easiest way to work on it, because if I taper it down, it then becomes harder to pull it back apart again into a circle. So there's my export button. Star Heart Whip. I'm going to make a new whip folder here for the exhaust. Let's do that. You just because I got so much stuff in here, I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to hope that's how you spell it. Exhaust. I should double check that before we go too far. This is going to be the rocket. That's fine. That's fine. Put that down there. Let's bring up Blender. And I'm going to set it up so it's up and down and that the origin is right at ground level and then it goes down. This will just make it easier when I start setting it up to parent to things, I think. Here we go. We got a Blender open. Get Blender over here. Let's go get that rocket in here. This is probably close, except rocket is over here that I'm going to use. I have copies of this somewhere, but it's just easier. And I'm going to make a 3mm cylinder, and we're just going to line that up to there. This just kind of gives me an idea of how big it needs to be. I need to get it so that it just fits right inside of that edge. Bum, bum, bum. Shift A. I know what I'm doing. Let's say cylinder. That was not a cylinder. Try that again. Let's try to hit cylinder instead of icosphere. We go. I want this to be 3 meters in depth, so we're going to do this 3 meters. And our location is going to be at minus 1.5. And then I'm just going to tap into edit mode. And you know what? We're not going to use this face or this face. I get rid of those. Also, right off the bat, I'm just gonna put a seam on the back for UV. Select all. Look at this from the bottom. Scale, but not on the Z. And we're just going to scale, but not on the Z again. This is a little off-centered. I probably should line that up a little better just to check. Scale, not Z. We just want that, so just going to kind of sit right about there. But you are a little off, so let's move you. My Z orientation's right. The Y could just be a little bit better. I'll switch over to wireframe. What I want to do is I want to line this line up right here with that right there. Is good. I'm in object mode. Let me go back to the cylinder and let's switch back to shaded. I can see what I'm doing. I think that's looking good. Then I'm just going to come in here. I should make you unselectable. Is there a way to do that? I don't know. We're going to rename our exhaust right off the bat. And I'm going to look up and make sure I can spell exhaust. Exhaust. Is that right? Definition. All right. EXHAUST. Okay. EXHAUST. Exhaust. There we go. We're going to have two material zones on here. We're going to have an exhaust outer and an exhaust inner. I can do stupid shader tricks if I want to do that. Let's get over here. How do I do an armature? I think I have to set the armature up separately and then, yeah. Anyhow, what am I doing? I'm doing materials. Material. I'm going to be exhaust underscore because Blender will add that anyhow. Outer. And we're just add another one. This will be inner. Not setting this one up yet. So we don't have an inner yet. Exhaust underscore inner. Do that. All right. Okay, I'm going to set this up for, I think I'm going to do some rigging. See how the rigging goes. Or I can set, we're going to set this up. So I'm going to have 30 segments. Which means I want to subdivide this 29 times. Or I want to do more than that. I think we're going to start with 29 times. And if I need more, we'll just subdivide. And then we're going to copy that, make it a little smaller by the inner material. Then I'm going to add an armature. Then I'm going to split that armature up into 30 segments. I'm going to auto fit, and it should generate vertex groups, which I can then use in Daz to rig this with. I've done this before, and I'm not sure that's how it works. But I do this from time to time, but I always forget. My forgetting is getting better, though. Or not, or my forgetting's getting bad. I'm forgetting less. I'm forgetting a little bit less. Let's pop in here. Let's do the thing I was just talking about. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna make 29 cuts. Gives me 30 segments. Each one is about point 1 meters in length, so I like the look of that. I hope that'll smooth out nice and give me nice curves in the Daz Studio. So I think that's good there. Switch back to this. I'm going to duplicate this and then make it smaller. So Shift D. Look at it like this. I don't need this rocket anymore, actually. Zoom in. Of course, I'm not zooming in. And we're just going to make that smaller. Scale, but not Z. I'm going to have like a little core. Kind of like that, I guess. Is good. All right, now let's set this up. I need to create vertex groups. I need I think I'm just gonna do I want to just call this exhaust 01? I'm thinking of bone names, and bone always sounds amateur. Although I really don't need a name for these, but I think we'll just call it exhaust. We'll call it um yeah, I think I'll just call it exhaust. Probably be 00 to 29. Or do I want to say 01? Maybe we'll do 01. I'm thinking. All right, I think I just need to add an armature now. We'll do that and set that up. Hit Shift A. I'm looking for an armature. Where's my armature at? They're all the way. Am I upside down? Yeah, I was upside down. All right, I'm going to set this armature up so it runs from the top of this down to here, which is at 3 meters. Tab into here. Can I just select that? And can we just move you down to... Nope. Oh, how do I edit this thing again? I am in edit mode. I am selecting radius. Really? Oh, there it is. This is the number I'm looking for. -3. There we go. I'm actually naming things as I go. How weird is that? All right, we need to subdivide this. Can I right click and choose subdivide? Is that how this goes? That would have been too easy. I'm in object mode. I need to be in edit mode. I need to select this, and then I think I can subdivide. Number of cuts. So right now we got one. So we want to do 29, just like we did with the other one. 29. Yay. I think I'm going to add... I think I'm going to add my subdivision to this now. Just apply that. So I'm going to do 2 levels. You know what? My cylinders have got way too much. I'm going to redo the cylinders. I should have made these like 8s instead of 32s, considering that I'm going to use subdivision. We're going to get rid of that. I'm going to redo this. Shift A. It's going to do mesh, cylinder, and what I should have done is I should have changed this. I want to end up with 32, and we're going to subdivide twice, which means it'll go to 8. 8 will go to 16, and 16 will go to 32. Start with 8. The rest of that's fine. I need to reline this back up again. Look at you from the bottom. Tab in. Oh, I got to get rid of these caps. Don't need those. Bye-bye. I could... There it goes. All right. Now we're going to look at this from bottom. Need to see the rocket though, right? Because we got to line it up on that scale. But I do Shift Z, so we only scale on the X and the Y. That's supposed to zoom in. It's not zooming in like it's supposed to. That I'm going to put the subdivision modifier on this now, just so I can just pop out real quick and see what we're looking like. And I'm in the wrong thing. There we go. And we're going to do what my shape is looking like when we subdivide. Scale but not Z. Yeah, just a little bit. Probably going to be good. Let's put our cuts into this. Oh, you need to come down a meter and a half. Fix that in a second. All right, put that there. We're doing 29 cuts. Excellent. Tab out. We're going to move you down. Oh, yep, that one right there. Minus 1.5. Maybe not. You're supposed to be 3. Why are you not 3? Why are you only 1? Because I scaled. I thought I was scaling without going on the Z. Apparently not. I may have fat fingered something. Anyhow, we can reset that to 3. And I can make that minus 1.5. That is a rotation. That is, there we go. Should be good. Looking good. Tabbing in, select all. You want to Shift D that. I'm going to scale that for the core. And I got to reapply my materials. Exhaust outer. That'll be exhaust inner. We will apply that in a second. Did I do my Shift G? I did. Okay. Scale but not Z. Probably good. I think that'll be fine. All right, let's apply that. Let's give these different colors so I can actually see. A lot of these things should not look like the other. All right, let's switch over here just to make sure my coloring's going good. I think I see a little. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I see a different color in there. You know what? We don't need the rocket now again. Okay, now I think I'm good. Yeah, I'm going to duplicate this, hide that in case we need it. We're going to call you exhaust. Apply subdivision level. Now we're going to take the armature. And does it work this way? And then is it Control P? It's the other way around. This, and then this, and Control P. Set parent to with automatic weights. That's what we want right there. Sure, deform. Automatic weights. Okay, that should, I hope, give me my groups, and I hope they start there. And you know what? I'm going to undo that because I'm going to name a bone in here. I already have all my bones in here, don't I? They're all called bone. I'm going to try this again. I'm just going to, nope. Yeah, I want my bone not just be bone. I want that to be something else. So I think I'm going to just do this over again. So delete that. Try that again. Yo, Zek. Ironic we're doing space. Just introduced bills to cut the NASA budget. The teeny by comparison NASA budget. It's because we need another bomber. And billionaires need to pay less taxes. Did I say that out loud? Oh, crap. Billionaires are going to come after me now. Are you not going away? There. I'm going to redo this. Shift A. Armature. Hey, you are pointing in the wrong direction. Let's name you armature underscore exhaust. Artbot reporting for duty. Hello, Mister. Now, imagine if NASA had the military budget. Jesus. We'd all have chips in our brains. Am I good? All right, I'm going to edit this. Elon wants everybody to have chips in their brains, but he wants it for the probably so he can just send you ads. The head, the tail. Tail needs to go to -3. Think I'm good. I'm going to select the body and subdivide that now. And we want to do 29 cuts on that. You had chips for lunch. Art is self-chipping. Oh, you know what we need, Art? We need a snow bunny command. I'm not sure what to say, but we should make one. Also, it has to have a sound. But I don't know what kind of sound a snow bunny should make. What's the sound of snow? Yeah, pretty much that. We'll work on this and maybe we can get a snow bunny command in a little bit later. Exclamation point snow bunny. Am I good? I think I'm good. How does this work again? I select. I'm in edit mode. Let's get out of edit mode. I select that. Then I select this. Then we control P. Then we do the automatic weight thing. Actually, before I do that, make a copy of this. Okay, hide the copy. Then we're going to take this, select that, control P, add the automatic weights. Nope, I forgot to name the bone again. Damn it. um, I did all of this so I could rename the bone, and then I forgot to do it. There we go. Now I can name this bone. Yeah, bones. We're going to call this segment. As long as it doesn't say bone, it looks like I know what I'm doing. Segment. There we go. And actually, if I say segment 0.001, does that? I'm just going to say segment. It's going to probably name these a little weird, but I'm going to live with that, I think. To segment. Now I'm going to subdivide 29. Now, if I select on that, that should be segment 1. What are you? Segment 1. Nope, segment. Why is that segment? Why did I segment in here twice? That's janky. Oh, no, I think I'm good. Yeah. Okay, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I think I'm clicking on the other. So I've got segment. So we're going to rename this actually. Point oh oh. Nope. Point oh. I might rename these something else when we get them to Daz, but I might not. Anyhow, I think that's good. So now all my bones have got a nice name that's not bone. Right. Now I can take. Now we're going to try this again. I should make a copy of my exhaust before I screw it up. Make a copy of the armature before I screw it up. Oops. Make a copy of the armature. Let's not move it. Let's put these in a separate collection. Back up. Create that. Okay, hide that. Select that. And then that. And then we do the control P thing. And we do the automatic weights. And I think now we're just going to take a look at how what we did over here. So the idea is, where did my exhaust go? Here in here somewhere. There we go. And we want to take a look at, did I not get my groups? Did I forget to break this apart? Do I have to assign groups? Is that it? It was supposed to make groups automatically. Hey, Plobby, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm going to do rocket exhaust for Daz Studio. I've done this before, and of course, I've forgotten how to do it because that's just the way it rolls. It's supposed to. There's a way to. I mean, I guess I could just assign all my groups in here, all my vertex groups, and then. So the idea was to try to use to give me automatic groups, but it didn't do it the way I thought it would. Let's try it. Maybe if I try you again. Control P. So set parent to automatic deform with automatic weights. Then if I can select this and tab in, and yeah, I'm a little rusty on it, to tell you the truth. I might just manually assign these and then just take that into Daz. So I do want to add a little, we do need to add and we're going to add a morph that's going to bring it together. So it's basically going to be like a long posable tube, but I'm going to morph it so it comes to a point. And what we're going to do is, by default, it's going to be really short, hopefully, sticking out of the back. But the idea is I can then do stupid trail effects. So the idea is, this is currently how the outfit is, although right now it's pointing at her butt. But the idea is I could just take this and kind of spin it around for a neat looking exhaust trail. But by default, it's just going to be a little exhaust coming out of the back of the rocket. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I was hoping that using the armature, and I've done this before where I can use an armature and it will automatically assign the vertex groups, but I didn't have that work. So I'm just going to, I think I'm just going to manually do it today. I'm not sure if this, let me see. What are you? You look right. What is this? Why is I got something called bone collect? Does this pose? Pose mode. Come to here. See, that's not actually. Oh, it linked only to the middle part. Is it because I had that selected when I did this? Did you, middle part, get vertex groups? Yo, Charles, how are you doing? CS Bond in the house, baby. Wrong cup. There we go. I'm using the big mug with coffee today. So those bones are actually attaching just to the core. Because I had the core selected. Let's try this again. So you know what? Here's the reason. This is why we make backups. I'm just going to delete. I'm just going to delete all of this. We're just going to come back here to the backups. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm just going to manually do it. So, exhaust armature, Shift D, exhaust, Shift D. I'm going to drag those back over here, and we're going to hide the backups so they're nice and safe again. Tab into here, deselect. You know, that might have screwed me up because I had faces selected when we did this. You got all your bones? You got all your bones? Okay, let's try this. I select you. Let's try this again. I select you. I select you. I control P again. Do this with the automatic weights. Going to now select tube. I still didn't get my bones. So it probably, yeah, you didn't connect very well. You know what? I'm gonna relearn Daz. See, this is what happens when you rig every couple of months. It all falls away. Then you cannot get it right. Right, so I'm just going to manually assign vertex groups to these and see how that goes. I want to this is going to be exhaust 01, exhaust 02. That makes sense. We're not going to go from 0. We're going to start from 1. So let's, I'm in edit mode. There, we've got that on. So basically, I'm just going to come through here and plus, that's a particle system. That might be why I'm not seeing it. Which one of you is... Oh, there's my vertex groups. Hey, it actually worked. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at particle systems instead of vertex groups. These things are so meaningful. I should have hovered my cursor over there. Yeah, that would do it. Look in the right place. So this should go from 0 to 29. We're just going to step through here and see. Select that. Only it didn't grab the outer ones. Select that. That's problematic. Why did you not get... the physics? I know it's sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. Well, they're next to each other too, right? You know what? It didn't pull the outer ones. I probably inadvertently, let me check something here. Uh, I can't hide. Let's try this again. I probably have them assigned in here. What I think I'm going to do is maybe clear that out and then redo it. I'm just going to, this is just the last time before I go manually. Because apparently I'm making better progress than I thought. I just delete all of you. Bring my backups up. So let's take a look. I do not. This is fine. Why are you not signing? That is still selected. Okay, that is now not selected. Excellent. Now we're going to pop out. Now we're going to make our copies of these. Right? I'm just going to move. Dang it. Let's try this again. 50. Now I'm just going to move these into the scene collection because it's just easier to work there. Hide the backups just in case. Select this, and I'm just going to call you exhaust. We can just read. I can just rename this stuff later, but for right now. Okay, so we select exhaust. We select the armature. Going to control. I'm going to double check the armature and make sure that that doesn't say bone. It says segment. It makes it look like I know what I'm doing because I actually took the time to rename the bone. Control P. Automatic weights. All right. Now I'm going to remember to click on the right thing. There's all my segments. Huzzah. Pop into here. Let's go into edit mode. Select that, and it only grabs the inner ones. Well, at least I guess it sort of makes it easier to spot what I need to do. So now I just need to assign these to that. At least I have everything set up over here. And I'm just going to deselect that, select that. Just look at that from the front, and then I'm just going to manually add those to that, deselect, select, and this way I can actually tell which ones I need to. I guess it's a little easier this way, but still, should have gotten them all. I'm not sure why it didn't. I guess the inner stuff just got in the way. I probably should have done this once and then made my copy and zoomed it in. Although I don't know if that would keep the vertex groups. If you do, I think it should. Anyhow, I'm assigning that. Deselect, select. All right, I only have to do this another 27 times or so. This is going to be fun. I'm going to hope I don't forget to hit something. That's the big problem with this is these little do that, do this, do that, assign and deselect. Move to the next one. Select, grab those, assign, deselect. Select, grab those. I am doing X-ray, so I am grabbing the ones on the other side. I may have made that mistake before. Where am I? I think I'm assigning, deselecting. I think that's what I did. Can I make this longer? Probably zoom out a little bit further. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm done with 9. And we are on to 10. Careful just to get the ones I want. Uh, okay, we should be just past the halfway point now. Sign, deselect, select, select, sign, deselect, select, box, sign, deselect, select. All right, we're down to like the last 9. Getting there. I did assign and then I can deselect, right? I don't think I've made any mistakes yet, but we'll check. We'll go through and select all of these and see if anything looks weird. Um, and then I can use the setup tool in Daz to quickly assign these bones. And my brain has stopped. Yep. All right. I'm assigning and deselecting. There we go. And select, put you up here, and get all of that. Assign, deselect, select, grab all of that, and assign and deselect. Okay, I've got 2 left. Select, and assign and deselect, select, and assign and deselect. And now I'm just going to, we're just going to do a run through here real quick, selecting all the way down. Good. I think we're fine. The worst thing is going oh and realize your count is off or something. Now I have to just remember how to export this into Daz. So there's that. I think I have to click a group thing or something. Uh-oh. That's off. All right, let's just check the other ones. That looks fine. How did you get off? What am I missing here? 1, 2, 3. Like a weird miscount in here. Where's 24? Did I not select something? Well, there's what my problem is. I didn't select 24. All right, we're good. We're cool. We're cool. All right. I was like looking at this going, how come I've got like a two thing gap? See, here's part of why I lined everything up so it lines up with the grids when we did this. If I'm doing this in like these are tenth of a meter increments, and I was careful to try to do that. It just makes it easier for me to spot what I'm doing. Things up when it comes if I have to use maths. I can quickly figure that out. All right, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think I'm going to export this over to Daz. It now has all its little groups set up. Well, this was just all a matter of just, and then also I'm going to make a morph. And the morph is basically we're going to scale in to 0. I'm going to set up a linear proportional editing. So just kind of make a line all the way down to here right now. I'm just going to probably make a copy of that for the morph target. What have I got selected? I'm in object mode. I think I have my exhaust selected. Okay, so we're going to export that. Let's use my Daz preset. So I'm only exporting what I have selected, and we'll save it over here. And we're just going to call you rocket exhaust. There we go. All right, 1 hour later, and I've made 2 cylinders. Whoop. I think I got my vertex groups clicked, so that should be good. We'll see what happens when we bring it into the Daz if I have to click on something else. But I think for what we're doing, this is critical for getting those groups over. Materials, we want that because we have an outer and an inner material. Selection only, so it doesn't inadvertently grab any of the garbage out there that I don't want. And export. All right, let's go over to Daz. Let's, I need the figure setup tool. Do I have that as a tab already? Maybe not. Nope. I don't think so. I think I have to bring that up. Why do I have Power Pose on here? I never use Power Pose. Seamster. I tried that, but it was a little funky. Hold on a second. All right, I'm coming back. Figure setup. So let's go over here. Windows, tabs. Should be under figure setup. There we go. Oh, I had it down there the whole time. I may have had it down there the whole time. I don't know. Anyhow, let's see if I can remember how to do figure setup. This makes we have to switch over because this still does just like the crappy old rigging. Not parametric, but it does the old weight maps, triax. Actually, can I just the figure setup tool is so freaking old, your options are parametric or triax. Triax weighted. And we're going to set, but still, it gets the basic setup, and then we can just switch it over to general. So how does this work again? Add geometry. Octopus? Nope. I'm not talking about the octopus. Pulp, star heart, whip, exhaust. I did this just so it's easier to see. All right, I should be able to bring this in. I think all of this should be good. So let's accept that. And what do? Do I drag you over to here? And there's all my bones. Yay. This is the, and I forget which way. Always forget Daz rigging and which way I need this ordered. Here, let's get a. I'm going to step away from this for just a second. Let me just drop and I'm going to look at one of the, and then that's the order that this needs to be in. I think it's something like ZYX, but I'm not sure. Might be YZX, I forget. Anyhow, what we're going to do is we're going to look at her bone right there. Let's pop over to the figure setup tool, grab a bone, come over here to the tools, come over here to the tools. Where'd my tools go? There we are. We're looking at this right here. So because my orientation's like that, I want to match this YZX. We're going to switch all of these to YZX. Also, we're going to set up the parenting so that 001 is at the top. Then we're going to parent stuff to that. I might actually just move you out here into the. Oops, nope. Where did you get stuck to? Now I can't undo that, can I? Oy vey. I was trying not to drop that there. Oh, there it is. It's, it's so wide. I'm going to try to move you out there so you're just floating. This is what I was trying to do. I can get a little more in here without seeing. So let's just grab, can I just grab everything? Can we change that to YZX? All in one fell swoop. That's nice. Now we just need to parent 29 to 28, 28 to 27, 27 to 26, 26 to 25, 25 to 24, 24 to 23, 23 to 22. Oops, I can't see chat anymore. Hello, Mr. Loki. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on this, and then I'll do a quick show you how I set up a two-piece outfit. Where's 22? Where's my 22? There's 22. Okay, 22 to 21, 21 to 20, 20 to 19. This is why I'm saying this stuff out loud so I can keep track of it. 18 to 18, 18 to 17, 17 to 16. Collapse that to make it a little easier. 16 to 15, 15 to 14, 14 to 13, 13 to 12, 12 to 11. Try that again. 12 to 11. That's going to crash now because I was actually using the figure setup tool. It's thinking about something. It may be crashing. We haven't gotten too far on this, so I'm just at like the very first step of figure setup, so it's not like we're losing much if it decides this is how it wants to go. I dropped free links in the gallery for tonight. Ooh, thank you. That's something open in the background. Nope. You know what? I should probably save this while we're crashing in Daz. Let's put you over here. Oh, come on, Daz. I would say I super believe in you, but I don't. All right, we're going to try this again. At least I know YZX this time. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to close. We're going to relaunch. We're going to go through this again. I should probably, this time we're going to go halfway through. I'm going to save, and then we'll try again. And we'll keep going. Activate the Daz, aka the Crashmaster 4.24. Actually, it doesn't crash that much. And like I said, that figure setup tool probably hasn't been touched since version 3. Or maybe even earlier. But it is just so handy for doing stuff like making these posable tubes. I don't know, maybe there's a better way to do it now. All right, so do I have the figure setup tool still in here? I do not, because we crashed. No, no, wait, it was down here the whole time. That's right. I'm just going to pull you up. All right, let's go get our geometry. Rocket exhaust. All of that was good. I take you and drag you over here. Just going to, you know what? Let me organize this first, and then we'll change the rotation order. It doesn't make any difference. Well, I don't know if it makes any difference. All right, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Let's do a file save as. Save as scene. Where the hell am I? Did I clean up my projects or something weird like that? You are totally. Oh, I'm inside the C Cox director. No wonder I can't find nothing. So let's put you here into the pulp folder. There we go. Carhartt and whip. And I'm just going to save this in here in exhaust. And exhaust whip. Except that. Okay, so where were we? We were on 23 to 22, 22 to 21, 20. All right, let's collapse. 19, 18, 17, 16, save, 15, 14, 13, 12, save, because last time at 11 is where it crashed. 11, 10, 9. All right, let's collapse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit save and put 1 under 0. All right. All right, let's expand. Am I expanded all the way out? Not all the way. Can I just do an expand? I can't. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Expand selected bones and children. There we go. That did not. There we go. We're going to grab all of these. I'm going to change our rotation order to, what did I say, YZX. I think this is good to go. If I do a create, we should get a figure in here. You know what we're going to do? I don't know if this is saving anything when I do this, but who knows? Let's hit the create button and hope for the best. Did I get anything? I can't tell. I got a figure setup tool in the way. I think I got something. Yeah, I think there we go. Let's check our orifices. We should have two surfaces, exhaust inner and exhaust outer. Yay. Okay, I should be able to select these and pose them. They might look a little. Actually, we have to. I need to switch this over. I keep forgetting to do this from triax to general. So let's do that. Is that with the setup tool? And where do we do that? Where did it go? Is it in the weight mapping? Where? Uh, geometry editor. Is it in the geometry editor? Select all, and then can we convert to? I'm forgetting. Maybe it's in the setup tool settings. Nope, I've forgotten what I'm doing. Uh, Daz, I gotta Google this. Good. Hold on. Um, Daz Studio convert. It's probably in rigging now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. So in scene, select exhaust over here, edit, rigging. Yeah, I think it's probably in here. Convert, triax, figure to prop, convert figure to. Here it is. Convert triax weight to general weight. That's what I'm looking for. The selected figure has been converted. All right. All right, we got that. Let me see if this if my segments are all attached to the rigging. We select these. I'm going to use the posing for this. And if we bend, they're not attached. We got to do the weight map thing. Oh, and I've forgotten how to do the weight map thing. Is it with the do I do this? Geometry selection, select all weight maps. Edit weight map, fill selection. Not yet. That wasn't quite it. You can see the bones bending there. You can see that this rest of this stuff isn't attaching. There's some sort of, I keep forgetting. Weight editing. This is a fill bone selection groups. Maybe that was it. Somebody should write this down. There we go. That was it. Fill bone selection groups. This way it's filling all the bones. Now it's a little janky. Not gonna lie. I think we can smooth this out though. There smooth selection. That did I select anything? I may not have anything selected. Select all. Doesn't look like anything is selected with the editor. Let's try this. Geometry selection, select all. I don't know. Oh, it was selected. Let's see if we can tweak these. I've done this before, but I forgot how it works. We will eventually remember. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. I thought I had tried that. I thought it didn't work. I'm going to undo that. We're going to play with this a little bit. Weight editing, smooth selection. Maybe the 50% was just too janky for it. No, first time I tried that, it didn't do anything. Maybe I just didn't have it selected. Anyhow, I think we're getting close. I may have a workable figure here. We'll see. Let's come over here to segment. Let me expand all of that out, and let's just randomly grab a bunch of these. Hop over to posing. We'll just bend those. Sweet. Do a little bit of twist. We don't need no stinking whatever ECR, ECMs to control all this stuff. You can just grab the segments you want, use the posing, and bend them all at once. Yay! All right, Control Shift F resets the whole figure. Getting close to this being good. Well, let's add our morph target to taper this, and then I want to be able to scale it so that it's like so big and still looks good. So back over to here. What do I have selected? I think I have the exhaust selected. Let's Shift E that. May not have worked. Okay, you're going to be pointed. Exhaust. Let's say exhaust pointed. And pointed with a D. All right, now let's pop into here. We're just going to grab these bottom vertices. And what I'm going to do is we're going to use proportional editing. I'm going to use the linear option. I'm going to scale that, but not on the Z. And we want it to almost all the way up to the top. Fall off. So I'm going to start with this. And you can see my fall off sphere. We're just going to take that right about there. Just going to zoom into here, and then just going to scale, but not Z. I think I'm going to try that. Let's see how that looks. Let's export that out. And I'm just going to call you exhaust pointed, and we're going to use that as a morph target. Oops, did you break what? You broke the internet? Damn you. Never mind, it's your Wi-Fi. All right, are we good? Did that work? Let's find out. You know what? We don't need that little number on the end of this. That just looks janky, right? We have the ability to change that. There we go. Rocket exhaust. Uh, select that. I'm going to activate Morph Loader Pro. I'm going to track down this morph target. And I'm going to hope that works. Looks like it may have. Let's take a look. Maybe not. I don't see something that's. Oh, no, I'm imposing. Once again, I'm on the wrong tab. Hey, I think that worked. Yep. And also, it'll expand the end a little bit too. Although I probably will put an expand morph on there where we're just going to pull that out. But I might use a expand end. Let's try that. Let's make another morph target while I'm in morph target mood. I'm going to hide you. You're good to go. We're going to take you. We're going to duplicate you. Hide the original. You're going to be expand and what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out, but I'm not going to do linear. I'm going to use a curve shape or something to do that, I think, with scale but not Z. So that's what it looks linear, but I'm going to switch that over to, I think, sharp. Might give me a cool, I'm going to look like maybe a trumpet is what I'm thinking. So that'll be another morph target right there. Expand end, file export. Exhaust expand end. All right, activate export. Pop back over to here. Let's load that in while I'm thinking about it. Boom. Use my morph file. Grab that expand end and say oakley dokley and accept. Okay, and yay. And that's good. So do I want to? That does a little weird. It flips through itself. Do I want to clamp those down? I think. Question is, do I want to be able to do that? I don't think so. We're going to tweak these a little bit. Let's go into edit mode. I'm going to set limits on these so they only go from 1 to 100. We'll do a min max. Well, here we'll make sure limits is set. I think it is, but do min max. Turn the mins to 0. Those. Did I type 0? There we go. Are you you're in percent? I like that. So this way it doesn't go below 0 and it'll only go to 100. I'm going to just change the colors of these just to make them stand out from everything else in here. Let's set our presentation. I like the green and the red. Green and the black seems to be the color that Daz likes for adjustments. I've just been slavishly stealing those. I'm probably stepping on somebody's toes. But I'm not a character creator, so they don't care as much. All right, let me see how this looks when we shrink it down like 5% or something. Because by default, I want it to just be a short little thing. So you make it pointed. And then I'm going to just come into parameters and general, our Y scaling, and maybe just set that to 5. And I think that's going to be like the default setup for it. Just a little exhaust coming out. But I want it long so I can do stupid exhaust tricks. Am I good? I think I'm good. I'm going to save this right now as a figure prop asset, and then we will make the textures. I think I'm just going to, oh, I did not UV map this. We can fix it. We can fix it. We have the technology. I'm going to export this out, and we're going to update the geometry with our UV maps. Will that get rid of my morph targets? It might. Do I want to just I Can I just update with this? With this? I think I might. Okay, I know how to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load in another copy of it with the proper UVs, and then we're just going to re-rig it, and then I should be able to save that. First, I'm going to save this just in case. So here we're going to save as a figure prop asset. Just going to put it in here. We're going to call this SH Starheart Rocket Exhaust. Just going to click on one of these, and we're just going to come over here. And you know what? I am going to save it as a. Right now, I'm just going to save it as a rocket exhaust, and then we'll have to reset it up for the Genesis 8 and the Genesis 9 versions. Right now, it's just rocket exhaust. I probably, this is going to be part of the Starheart. SH Starheart rocket exhaust. Excellent content type. You are just a, I'm just going to call you a prop. And this is really limited, so it's just a prop. Set the category. You get more options here. I think I'm just going to call this a prop. What are you? Maybe I'm just going to call it a prop. I'm not sure if there's a. Is it a vehicle? Do I get an option for vehicles even? Nope. Is it a weapon? Nope. Is it an office prop? Nope. Is it a personal prop, a sports prop, a tool? I'm just going to say prop. Accept that. All right, now I've got this saved. So when I screw this up, we can come back. All right. Anyhow, hide you. Make a copy of you. I'm going to call you fixed UVs. I have not UV'd this. I did set up my seam. But I know this is the good one. I think there's a period still left in there. Let's get rid of that. All right, let's go over to UV editing. I am not in edit mode. That's my problem. You know, that's probably not bad, except I probably have the two. We're going to separate these out. You. Unwrap conformal. You do not look like you've got your seams done right. Could have sworn I set up seams for you guys. I guess not. We'll switch to this. Are you my back? I can never remember what my back is. I think that's the back. I went to all the trouble to mark those seams and then they went away. I don't know if I got the right one. I do got the right one there. Mark a seam in there. Nope, you're still. It's like you got an extra geometry or something in here. Do I have extra faces on top of it? What the hell? Am I getting? You know, I know what I'm seeing the other. Am I seeing the other? I am. I'm seeing that. That's not helping. Did I mark sharp by accident? Boy. Try this again. Mark seam. Mark seam. See if I can take a look at the bottom and make sure I got that. I think I'm good. There we go. I'm just going to pull those up. Oops, somebody's got proportional editing still on. Turn that off. And you are butting up right against the edges, so I'm going to fix that. I mean, I could set this up so that I just make weird maps. I think I might do that actually. So is there an easy way for me to get this to go end to end? And then I'm just going to make kind of an odd shaped map. I'm not doing anything fancy, so I'm not worrying about distortion on this thing. Here, let's try this. Let's put you like that, and then I can scale on it, and then I'm just going to pull those. They fit most of that. Maybe I just want to line them up on top of each other. I don't think so. I think I'm going to leave them a little separated like that. I'm going to give myself just a little space on the edges. Probably good. Now I'm going to just export this out. Rocket exhaust. I'm going to say rocket exhaust UVs. And is this all good? This should all be good. So I hopefully can get away with doing this. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to use the transfer tool. And we're actually going to swap out this geometry for the geometry that's in here. The way to do that with the transfer tool. Recently discovered a few months ago. So are you my import? Import file. Why am I looking at that? Because I haven't actually imported a file today. I just thought I did. Star heart, whip, exhaust. That's the one with my good UVs. Let's open that up. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to take transfer tool, which I have a handy dandy button there for. We're going to select the rigged rocket exhaust. I'm going to select the unrigged rocket exhaust with the good UVs. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to replace the source with a target. For this, yeah, we're going to swap out the source with the target. And this should pick up all the rigging, and all the morphs have the new UVs. So let's try that. If this doesn't work, this is why I saved a copy before we took off. Come over to the posing. So that's looking fine. Let me go see if my morphs are still in here. We have the morph targets, so we can always just reload those if we have to. So that seems to be working. All right, let's go over the surfaces and check out our UVs. So this should be, if we come into UV view, excellent. There we go. I swapped out the UVs without having to do any weird file editing. I have seen, that was the explanation I saw before for changing UVs. Oh, you got to do all these extra tricks and then swap out this UV file over in the data folder, and then you have to do a little bit of editing. And then I discovered this. Anyhow, this is good. I'm going to resave this, and then we're going to make our UVs. I'm going to set up a gradient. I think that'll the outer one, I think, would just be 50%. And we're going to have a gradient that's going to fade out. And then the inner one will be maybe higher. We might not fade out all the way to the end. Maybe I'm going to fade out, but I'm going to maybe do the gradient a little bit steeper over here. Anywho, let's save this. Let's go back to the scene tab. Switch back to perspective view. And let's save you. You know what I want to think? I think I want to save it in the pointy small rocket configuration. Also, I got to move this. Let's do that. Let's put these. Let's sticking this in more smart floater. We don't do that. I'm going to change that to say adjustments. Man, I'm going blind. Okay. So now we have adjustments on here. I'm going to make this short. So come to scale. You know what? I'm going to try 4%. That's going to be the default for our exhaust. Start with. I'm going to do a quick render. Let's see how this thing's looking. Make sure I don't have any weird. That's collapsing up. What the hell? Oh, I've got a ground on here. Damn it. Render properties. Where's my. Where did my render properties go? There they are, render settings. Environment. We are drawing a ground plane. Let's turn that off. There we go. That's looking. I think this is going to work. All right. 2 hours later, and I got rocket exhaust. Well, not yet. We still have to texture it. And I haven't quite decided if I want to add texture. I think I'm going to try to add some in it, which means I'm probably just going to draw some shapes. We'll motion blur them out. We can use that with the trans, and then we just add color and emissives to it. I think I am going to save this out as a duo. I am going to save this out as a UV. Let's tap in, all UV, export. There it is. It's at the bottom these days. You know what? With this thing, I can make small maps. There's really what we're doing doesn't require a 4K map. Let's just save you. I have to put. I'm going to put this into the project folder where the live version is. Right in here. Tunic tights. I gotta save more UV maps. I think. Rocket exhaust. Export that. All right, should be good. Come over into here. Pop over. Here. 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 You know what? I gotta save this into the live. Oh, I said save this into the live. Okay. Never mind. Open that with Photoshop. All right, let's just do a gradient. Want to use gradient again? Yeah, this is how long it's been since I've used the gradient tool. Here's the gradient tool. black and white. And I always forget which way, but I think, where's my cursor go? Oh man, I can't see that thing. Is that the right way? I might have this backwards. No, that went the right way. All right, do that. Actually, I did that on the wrong layer. Let's do a new layer. Then I'm going to do that. Dang, I totally just cannot see that cursor on that pattern. Gotta be a way to change that. All right, is good. I'm going to hide that for a second. We're going to marquee select this. I'm going to put a 50% gray on here. That should be 128. I was close, 129. I heard a noise. Why did I hear a noise? Probably saying I got a raid from somebody, but I can't see. Or did I get a follow? Or what the hell happened? Dang it, I see nothing. YouTube shows nothing. I don't know. It was like the sound I get with a raid, or a follow, or something. I got a follow. Okay, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. All these noises sound the same. Um, yeah, I want to do 50% gray here. Perhaps it was we need to make the snow bunny command. We're gonna I'm gonna quickly show Loki some things if he's still here, right after I get this textured. And then we're gonna make a snow bunny command, and then if we still have time, I'm gonna work a little bit more on the lips overlay. Okay, so what I want to do is 50% gray in a new layer. And I'm just going to put that right there. And I'm going to set that to multiply. So that will blend in with this. Then what I want is for the inner one. I'm here, but skip it for now. I can't see Jack on the tiny. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to put a 20% gray here. So let's tweak you. I don't know. What is 20% gray? Something like that. That I'm just going to eyeball. Oh, yeah, it's Jack's anniversary today. So that's our raid target. I should set these to just be black, actually. um, let's do new layer for this. I'm going to fill that in with black. And Control I. Control I. Not Control Shift I? Control Shift I. Okay. New layer with that. Fill you with just black. I'm going to get rid of you because I'm going to do this differently now. We're going to take you and set your opacity to 80%. I can actually type these in. Then I'm going to take you and set your opacity to 50%. Then when I do that, I don't even have to do... Why is that darker? You should be lighter. Because you are... Oh, it's opacity. I'm sorry. There we go. That's better. 20%. I think this is what I want. So I'm going to make another layer. I'm going to little styrations in this. And I'm just going to add some little black dots. Then we're going to do a motion blur. And then I'm going to try to use that as a opacity map. And then we're just going to add colors and emissives in Daz. Need a new layer here. E on that. Take you. Select you. Is that going to be about right? Sort of, except is my hardness is a little low on that. What do we make you hard? Why are you looking faded? You look good. All right, what is up with my brush? Why is it not black? Hmm. Is it this flow? There we go. The flow was off. Okay. Maybe make that a little bit smaller. Let's try this. That might be too small given the size of the exhaust. Just gonna put one here and here. Let's see how this goes. Let's do a motion blur. Maybe I should add a few down here as well. Filter. Blur. Motion blur. I want it to go 90. And we just kind of want to set that distance to something. I should probably do this on a white layer so I can tweak the, I'm going to cancel that. So I can tweak the levels, which I can't do with a transparent. So let's do a new layer. Okay. Flip that. Grab the fill tool. Put it there. Just going to merge these two together. I'm going to set this to multiply. So that kind of looks like what we had, except now I've actually a filled layer, not transparency. I'm going to do the filter, blur, motion blur, 90. And if we do something like that, say okay, I can now come in here and adjust the curves. I can get those kind of back. I think I want to blur those. Maybe not that. I don't know. Let me see what this looks like. Part of me's thinking maybe I just blurred the edges a little bit, and now because I just thought I saw the blur thing with the blurry thing. Where is the blurry thing? It's a little smooth. Is this it? Smudge tool. That's actually what I wanted. Smudge. Not like that. Kind of janky ass brush is that? Let's go with this. That's too much. Although peeking at Twitter, it appears his event is at 8 p.m. tonight and not 4 p.m. Oh no. Cheap viewers? Screw you, dude. I do not have cheap viewers. You can't afford my viewers. There, that's better. You can't handle my viewers. I'm liking the looks of those a little bit better. Oops. Insane in the membrane. There we go. All right, let's try this. File. Uh, export as JPEG. Export. Okay, so what folder are you in? You're in my test folder. Excellent. Let's put you over here in the rocket. Say, Carhartt rocket exhaust. Opacity. That's right, frugal. I have the frugal viewers. And thank you, Charles, for that. I don't even know if that showed up in chat. It probably showed up over somewhere. That's okay. It was hammer time. I'm going to save that. Let's pop back over, see how we're doing. Where's my Daz Studio when you need it? There it is. Oh, go into the surfaces, grab both of these. Let me just drop. You know what? I'm going to put my generic shader on here. Come on. I only clicked on a menu. Just show me the stuff that's under it. There we go. All right, let me put my generic shader on there. Let me save this now that Daz is telling me to save. And basically, we're just going to resave this back out. Somewhere in here is something that says Star Heart Rocket Exhaust. There we go. Yippee. That should all be good. Prop and prop. And accept that. Okay, now let me put our materials on here. So we are looking at cutout opacity. Let's just go. I'm going to drag this over to the side for a second to where I was working last. Where did it go? There it is. We're getting there. I'm over on screen 2. Hold on. Star Heart Rocket. There we go. All right, I can bring Daz back now. It was safe. Let's close you. All right, let's see how this is looking with the trans maps on. I don't have the emissive on yet. Just put on the trans, so it should fade to the end. I'm not sure if that's exactly. Maybe I'll go with that. If only there was a way to do edge fading in Daz like there was with Poser. Poser had a cool effect with Frenzel. Um, but you could do edge effects where you could have the edges be completely transparent and it would go to opaque. But you can't quite do that with the Daz. So I may just make this a little more transparent. Maybe this one I think I might not have, make a little more opaque right here towards the end. I'm probably going to put a little bit more of a different gradient fill on this part. So for outer, and I think for outer I can just adjust the cutout opacity in here. So I'm going to just take that to 0.5. For the inner, though, I need to adjust that in here. Going to come into here. Actually, I'm going to make a selection in here. Perhaps hexagon can do that too. Possibly. Yeah, Daz. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to do it in Daz, but I haven't figured out how to do that. And I do kind of miss that. And it was a Fresnel, Fens. I don't know that. There's that word I can never pronounce because my brain can't remember how it's spelled. Um, but that, but there's, if I could just figure out a way to get that to work, but I'm not worrying about it. I'm going to just make this janky. All right, so I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to control T that. I'm going to just, we're just going to pull that opacity so we can actually see that point on that. Now let's resave this file, export as, and I'm just going to overwrite that. And we're just going to, here, I'm going to switch this over to iRay for a little bit so we can kind of see what's happening in real time. You know what? Maybe I will add a texture color styrations because I'm not seeing my my opacity quite isn't doing it. May make a color. Let's group these together. Actually, let's group these ones together. This is opacity. New group. Oh, I should have new group from layers. Oh well. Hit new layer. And put opacity down here. Let's just get rocket color layers in here. Boom. Start with I want to just noise this. Start with yellow. Control D that. That wasn't yellow. That looks more like the yellow. There we go. Um, and then you know what? We're gonna just add touches of red and orange in here, and then just blur that out and see what that looks like. It's just, then I'm gonna see how ugly that is. What was I doing? Paintbrush, orange, a bunch of orange dots in here. All right, let me make that maybe red now. Maybe make the brush a little bit larger this time. Not going the right way. There we go. Right, let me go back to orange again. Larger brush. All right, let's motion blur that. And let's Let's do a little bit of smearing. All right, let me check how this is looking. Export as sauce base color. Where's Daz? There's Daz. All right, let's see how this works. Eventually I'm going to add emissive to this. I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. You aren't really going up, are you? I need to make that really obnoxiously visible, don't I? Also, if I put this into the emissive channel, are you not glowing for a reason? Because it's too dark? I definitely need to make those bigger. I'm not being bold enough with these. Let's just paint with bigger. Let me just see how this is going. Export again as refresh you. That's telling me I need more. Oh, god damn it, I lost the maybe also use that for the put more red and orange up here. I'm gonna back this up a little ways. I'm gonna redo these. Maybe I should just do these on a new layer. I'm gonna make you a little bit smaller. I'm gonna take you and put you up here where I can see you. Kind of gives me an idea of how much I have in each one. Is that my new layer? I think that's my new layer. Uh, Filter, motion blur. See if this is looking any better. Oh, I want to do less over here actually. And maybe whiter over there. Well, maybe I'll just put a white on top of that. back that off on the opacity a little bit. Maybe like that. Let's try that. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I think we're going to tweak our temperature to be on the warm side. Let's do that. Somewhere in here is there's the temperature. Uh, 65 is too bright white for my liking. I don't know. Let's make the inner 55. Not that you can actually see that difference very much. I drag you back further. I might just go with that. So the thing is, I'm going to save that right now. Save you, what, right about there? Save prop for that. Right there, props. Save that. Good. Now I want to Control Shift F, put that back to long and see how that looks. I think I'm going to memorize that with the pointy morph on. Just do that. I think that might do the trick. I'm going to play with it a little bit. Here, let's do a little, come up with a pose in. It grabs you. I'm going to just maybe grab a little bit like that. Actually, let's grab the whole thing. And just bend you a little bit. I think I'm going to tweak the sensitivity on these. Can I do that in edit mode? I'm not in edit mode. I'm in posing. Can I do? I am in edit mode here. It's a tweaky. I have to grab all of these. I can grab this, that, and the other. Then can I set your sensitivities? Is that an option? Set sensitivity. There we go. It is an option. Look at that. And let's take that down, maybe by a factor of 10. See how that looks. So it's going to make, if you select one, kind of slow, but when you select a bunch of them together. You know, it's still a little snappy, isn't it? Because the sensitivities in here need to be set, don't they? Is that what it's telling me? No, my nudge value. You're just being a bad boy, aren't you? If I do that, does that change it any? I can't even tell which way I'm looking at this. And if we put a little twist on that, makes really cool shapes. A little side by side. You know what? I think that's going to work for me. So I'm going to reset this back to the short version, pointy. We're going to. It's memorized like this though. So if you reset it, do I want to have it set at pointy? small, Control Shift F that. So if you can, I did the wrong thing. So if we reset, I want this, whatever we reset to be the base. I think I am going to have that scaled at 4% by default. The Y scaling, the Y scaling. And I think that'll be the, so I'm going to memorize that for the figure. Control F on that. Oops. I lost my point. Okay, now I'm going to memorize that. Just double check that am I looking at weight? I am looking at weight editing. Control Shift F. Okay, so that's the default. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to call that good for the rocket exhaust. And Loki is on a really teeny phone, so he can't see what I'm talking about. I'm going to save this just once again. And that file's actually going to go away. I think I'm going to delete that and then just leave this as a wearable preset with the 2 rocket packs. No, we're going to leave this. Never mind. I do want to replace you, and you're going to be props. All this good for now. Do have to make a thumbnail for this now. Now I've done this last minute edition. I'm going to turn this off. I'll probably re-render my main promo image and have that ready for the Saturday Night Social. I'm going to add that to this image, and it's going to kind of trail around a little bit. Hopefully that looks cool and not stupid. I saved you. Turn you off. I guess I could do the thumbnail right now. Yeah, let's do that. File, open recent, star, heart, thumbs. There we go. I had just saved that, so I don't need to do this. The thumb file is missing stuff because I reordered stuff after making that file. It's fine. It's all fine. I just basically need that so I can bring this in and save a thumbnail for it. This is covering up chat. Let's not do that. Okay, whatever is missing, it's probably good. I don't need to see. Can't see all of my window anymore. Thinking. It's simple. Just make visible and then hide it all. Make visible and hide it all. Something. But no, Daz has got to think about this. And now my stream is buffering. Thank you, Daz. I appreciate that. It's still thinking. Maybe it's time to kill all Daz. File. Save as. Boy, it is really slowing down the system now. I should track down what's doing that and kill it. Sorry for the for the choppy stream there. I'm going to save this file first, though, before I lose it. And I'm going to come over here, get you out of the way. Are you still doing stuff? Stream is still really choppy, so let's try to track down what's going on. ISIS. What is pushing my CPU? Check here. OBS Studio is doing its obligatory 35%. As just locking up for fun. OBS is using 70% of my GPU. I'm going to close. I'm going to just kill Daz and relaunch. It's not responding. I think it may have gotten starved for GPU or something. I don't know. Save changes before closing. I think we're good there. Hopefully my stream's a little less choppy. I can't tell though. I seem to be moving okay. I keep sliding behind the flowers. Hold on. I should probably look at myself. All right, let's try to relaunch Dance and see how this goes. I feel like I'm a day behind on YouTube. How's Twitch looking? Twitch is just frozen. There we go. That's better. I can see Twitch moving again. Sounds fine. that's all we care about is what it sounds like. All right, let's see if we can open up this file again. Open recent. Starheart. Thumbs. Right there. Let's try this. I want to save changes. I do not want to save changes. We're working on presets for your new top at the moment. Is this the one you showed me? Because my way is to make the presets for the top and the bottom at the same time. And that's the reason why I do an OBJ with the top and the bottom. Right, it's missing something, which is fine. You know what? I'm just going to delete that. Delete that. All right, now we're cooking with propane and propane accessories. All right, here and here and here and here and here and here, and that doesn't have to say Genesis 8 because it's going to just be, I think, agnostic. So we're just going to load that in. Control F to that. I'm going to make sure my ground is turned off in the render settings. Environment. No, yes. Ground plane is off. So let's do this. So R. There's my tip file. Okay, close that. I'm going to stick this over here for just a second again. Okay, we're safe. Okay. Projects, Amp 08, people, Genesis 8, clothing, me, Genesis 8, and writing, that file right there. Yes, now I can bring this back because it's all good. All right, let's get the 91 by 91 in here. Browse the file location. Replacing that. This. And I'm going to get rid of the garbage on that name. Hopefully my power renamer was set up. Yeah. Apply that. Is good. Over here, do a quick refresh. Looking good. I'm going to copy and paste from here. I can do it. Daz has been doing something funky. Let me try this. Let's copy this. So this is exactly the same thing for Genesis 8 and Genesis 9. So I'm just going to paste that right in here. We're going to pop back over into here. I'm going to take a look at what kind of file it created. I've been seeing it make these DGI files or something. I don't know what those are. And I don't know. Oh, wait. Okay, now it's a duff. Okay, we're good. Okay, so that's good. Now I'm going to redo these ones with this as part of that. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to do lips. I'm going to hit save on this. I'm going to do file new. And I want to get a little bit more progress on the makeup. And this is the reason why this project's not done. I keep adding stuff. Oh, I just need to add one more morph. oh, I should adjust these belts to work a little bit better. Let's add rocket exhaust. 2 months later. All right. So anyhow, I got that done. I just need to update some files. What time of rocket? I'm working on a rocket pack for here we go. I'll show you. This is the outfit I'm working on. It's going to go with this rocket pack that's on her back. So I wanted to add an exhaust to that. And I'm pretty much done. I'm actually in the process of submitting it to Daz, and I'm going, you know what? Always something. Too many parts on this outfit is what it comes down to. Um, I'm working on lips. So we're going to hide the bubble helmet. And I'm going to switch back to texture shaded. And I'm going to see where I left off on the makeup. I think last time I just set up the mask. And maybe I'm going to try to just do a couple of lip textures. I think what I want to do is I want to set up a zone for a little bit of outlining on the lips. And then basically maybe a zone where we can highlight the middle. And so we're going to have the basic, then you can put a basic color here and add a lip liner, and then I'm going to save those out as colors. But where was I? Somewhere down in here is a makeup directory. And did I save a lip yet? I don't know if I saved lips yet. People, I'm going to say female materials, me, makeup. I do not have lips colors yet, so let's set up a folder for that. Create a subfolder. I may never make a product out of this, but we'll see. We'll see. Part of it is I can't. Layered image editor has some limitations to it, and GeoShells is a little weird. But they both offer me something a little bit unique. So it's like layered image editing. I can do things like overlay modes. multiplier and screen and things like that. You can't do with a geo shell. On the other hand, layered image editor, I can't actually change the value of a dial. So if metallicity is set to 0, I don't think I can change that to be 1 and then get a metallic effect going if it's already 0, which a lot of skins are. Anyhow, I'm creating a folder here. Lips, colors, stick. I'm going to say lipstick. I'm just going to say lips for now. I might rename that later. Do that. So let me see where I left off with Substance Project. Activating Substance Painter. Is there a picture on the other side of this? No. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of mugs that can't be bothered to put the picture on both sides. Now I have to drink with my left hand so you can see the wonderful Darth Vader on the other side. Okay, close that. Let me see if it's in the recents. Makeup eyeliner. I think that's what I was calling it. I think it initially started as eyeliner, so of course. And then I started making eyeshadow and lips. I may even do blushes. So that's where we left off. I have my mask for the lips. I think I have the two. Oh, wait, does this have a blur filter on it? That's right. We can make it sharp or we can make it a little blurry. I got to save it out as sharp and a little blurry. Then I'm going to. Too bad I can't automatically trace that. Is there a way to automatically trace a. I think I have to draw that out in this program. I could do it in Photoshop. Not Substance Painter. I'm going to save these out. I'm going to put them into the makeup folder. I'm going to do 2 saves. I think I'm just going to save the base color out and then rename that opacity. Control Shift E. I'm just going to do base color and export that. Output directory. And look at all this stuff I got left over in here. You know what? I'm going to just get rid of. Do I need any of this? I'm just going to rename that. This is going to be lips. O2. Lips soft. We're going to change that to be an opacity map. And then I'm going to turn the blur off, and that'll be sharp. Crisp. I'm going to call it crisp. I say sharp. Lip sharp opacity. Okay. Let's grab these. Let's go find my makeup directory and stick these in here. Set up a folder for those. Makeup. Fine. Textures. Me. CC Makeup 01. So in here, that probably, that's just a temporary thing. New folder. Lips. Put these in here. I'm trying to organize how I want to kind of set these up, make them easier to work with in Substance. So now we're looking at putting our color effects on here. Actually, I did that lip texture, not you. Where did that go? Did I bring that in? Those are you my textures? You are my textures. I don't think I brought that in, did I? I thought I did. Maybe not. Where did that thing go that I was working on? Dang it. Is that in a whip folder somewhere? Oh, I gotta track that down. Hold on. We're gonna do that over on screen too. It's probably in the makeup folder somewhere. I hope. I hope I at least had the foresight to do that. Just sticking it in some random texture folder. Maybe Photoshop remembers where I was. Makeup. Do I have a whip folder for this? What are you? Nope, that's not it. Maybe it's in references. It's in references. There it is. Found it. Copy that. Actually, we're going to leave that right there. We're going to add that as a resource in here. So once upon a time, I had subscribed to 3D SK for like 3 months and downloaded a whole bunch of stuff. So I pulled some lips off of that. And I kind of made sure they kind of fit this template. So I'm going to bring those in to kind of add a little variation to our colors that we export out. So we are import resources, add resources. You are in projects. And makeup. And the resources in there. References, that's what it is. And it's that one right there. That up. And you're going to be a texture. And you know what? I'm going to put this on here. And we're just going to import this into this project. I don't need this as a general resource. So bring that in. I had this fill layer. I'm going to put this in here for the base color. That kind of lines up not too bad. So maybe I can do a lackadaisical job of turning this into a bump map. At any rate, I might turn this into a grayscale. I can use that as a bump map or other effects. So let's do that. Open with Photoshop. Although I'm not going to use it as a bump map because we're not going to swap out the normal and the bump maps on the characters that are already in there. But I might use it as an effect to change the colors a little bit. I thought I cleaned that up a little bit more. I may have done that with the hold on. I still have a PSD file of this thing. You in Photoshop. See if I cleaned it up a little bit on those edges. Yeah, I want to open up the Photoshop in Photoshop. Come on, Windows. I double clicked on it. Windows goes, hey, what application do you want to open up this Photoshop file? Okay, this one I blurred out a little bit, so I think that's going to work a little bit better. Don't tell Willie, I may have used AI. We're going to do save as a copy. Saving that as the JPEG. I'm going to overwrite this. I don't know if this updates in. You get updated in here or not? Clips copy. I can't tell. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to put a weird color in the corner. And that'll let me see if my changes are actually happening in Substance Painter, if I have to actually go and update. I saw something happened in chat, but I can't see it right now because I got a program in the way. No. Right. I don't want white. I want a cool color. There we go. Cool color. Now let's save this as a copy again. Save as a copy. Again, JPEG thing. I'm going to overwrite that. Say yes. And say yes to that. I'm going to come over here. Close that. Close that. And I know chat's saying stuff. Clutches pearls. I still don't have a Chris command. All right, let's see if that updated over here. That does not seem to have updated. Can I update this? Reload. Hey, there we go. There's a reload. Yay. Okay. So if I have to make changes to that, and I want a grayscale version, which is the reason why I'm here in the first place. You know what? I can probably do grayscale this way without changing anything.
Chris, pay attention.
What, Charles? What? Are you clutching pearls too? Saturation. There we go. I have a grayscale version. You know what though? I want to adjust the curves on that, so I'm probably just gonna make a copy of that and then adjust the curve. And I can't see that. So, you know, I'm going to just make the darks darker and the lights lighter. I'm going to save that as the grayscale. We'll see how that, if that's useful or not. Lips, gray. I might use this as an overlay to help give us a little variation in the color. Of course, it does then get in baked in highlights and shadows. So I might dial that back. Anyhow, where am I? I'm over here. Let's load that in. I'm going to use it as a bump map, even though I'm not going to save it. Save bump maps. It'll just look a little cooler in here. Import resource, add resource, grab the gray one, URA texture. I'm going to put that on there because that just identifies everything and save it just in this project and import that. And you know what? I can take this and add a height channel to that and grab you there. Ew. That doesn't look cool at all. And there's a blemish in there. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to dial that back so it just doesn't look so obnoxious. This is just for purposes of the stream. But I think I am going to use, but I can kind of use this to help adjust the color layers. Can I use that as like a filter or something? I think maybe we'll just make another fill. Then I'm just going to drop this into here and just change the blend style on that. Maybe, you know, like an overlay or something. And that'll help give us some variation back there. And we can just dial that back a little bit. So it helps give a little bit of variation into that color. I can actually set up a lip color layer in here. Then I think maybe there was only a way. I almost want to just do this with Photoshop, bring it in as a mask for my outliner. I think I could just do this file open. This is one of those things I don't find easy to do in Substance, but just like bing, bang, boom, and I'm done over here already. I can make a selection like that. Ooh, there's actually a shade variation there. Like this. And what I'm going to do is just expand that, then blur that, and then I can use that as a mask for an outliner color. So, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna need a new. We'll set up the other layer, and I'm in the middle of this. Selection, modify, and expand, and I don't know how far is 20. I may do another one, but I think it's gonna be now. Let's do this new layer. That's gonna be a. Did I not do my new layer? Frick. All right, and let me put another layer in here. Control D. I could either do it as black or white. Let's do it this way. Nope. All right, there we go. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of a blur on this. Good old Gaussian blur to the rescue. I think maybe like that. Let's try this. File. Save as a copy because I know it'll end up in this folder here. But I'm going to pull you out over here and outline. Liner. Mask 01. Save that. Hop back over to here. So I'm going to put a slightly darker color on this, I think. The edge, that'll be the outliner. And maybe I'll put a lighter color in the middle, and I'm probably just going to paint that on top. Kind of like that, but maybe like this. The black mask over here, and add a paint. Just do that. You know, I'm going to do a paint with a blur. Put a blur on that. Kind of smooth that out. I don't like that. That color isn't working with this other color. We'll play with that. Let me get my outlining in here, though. What are you? I have no idea what I have this layer for. Oh, that's the. Oh, no, that's the color overlay. Did I put you in the? No, no. No, I think that's the variation layer, isn't it? It is. Yeah, it's the overlay layer. Okay, never mind. Let's call you. Uh, Let's label it so I know what it is. What a novel. This is going to be the highlight. Lip highlight. Going to be the lip base color. I'm just going to add another one in here. This is going to be the lip outliner. Do that. Going to put a. Can I load in a? How can I get? If I do a black mask, put a color in here. Grayscale. I can do it right there. Okay, excellent. Let's go grab that lip liner we made. Import resource. Add resource. Yep, I'm in the wrong. You are. Where did I save you? Lip outliner mask. There we are. That whole thing should have been white to the edges. I probably should touch that up a little. Um, you're a texture. Actually, you're actually an alpha. I can call you an alpha. And that just for this project, import that. Drag that into this grayscale here. Why do I not see you? Maybe I need to do that as. Well, maybe it goes into the alpha. Nope. Okay, how do I get you to be the layer mask? That's all. Do I need to put a. There's a noise. I heard a noise. Hey! Thanks for that gift sub there, Charles. I appreciate that, man. Good old dyslexic cart for the awesome sauce that is CS Bond 2. Do that, do this, add fill. There we go. Now I'm cooking, I think. There it is. Now we just need to change this color to be the outliner color. I know that looks weird. And then if I want that to be even softer, could I put a filter on there? If I make that hard and put a filter on there, we're pretty close. I'm gonna adjust the color on that. I'm gonna put you up here. We're gonna tweak you. Maybe I'm just gonna do that and then dial it back. I don't know. Let's see how this looks when we save it out and put it all together in whatchamacallit. So I actually kind of do want that to be that color. So let's do Control Shift E, base color, export. Where's my export filter? I lost my export directory. Oh, why do you look weird? 1 minute you're one way, the next minute you're just laid out completely different. Go. That's just Windows doing random shit. I'm gonna change that to say lips red. And I'm going to say 01. I'm probably going to do variations of red. Let's try this though. All right, let's move this over and set this up as an LIE. Probably all we're going to have time for today. But back over to, you know what, this is pretty close. This is in the ballpark. Runtime, textures, clips. Let's put that in here. Okay. Let's set up an LIE. I'm going to set it up for, and I have to do it for the lips and the face because we got this little blur on the edges. Well, the sharps only need to go on these, but the blurry ones. I don't think the sharp's going to look goofy though. Although I have actually seen makeup applied that sharp. I'm going to do the soft though. Let's do, we're going to start with this, and then whatever I do here, I'm going to apply to that. So we're going to pop over to soy faces. And I have to do this actually in 2 spots because this translucency color will bleed through and mess up your makeup settings. Well, that's not too bad. But I've seen some of these things where people will dial up this translucency to like 0.5, 0.6, and then this color becomes actually what you see more of in the base color, and that is just annoying. I don't know. So we're going to do that. We're going to set it here. We're going to set it here. Then we got to do the lips. Let's first start layered image editor activated. And I'm just going to do, we're going to add an image layer. And I just love the way it just goes to the skin texture folder. You know, eyeliners, I put that there so it would be close to what I'm looking for. So we're going to do that. But you're not going to see this on the lips right now. Can I do 2 at once? I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to try this. Let's select the lips and the face. And can I do these both at the same time? I hope. It'll save me a little bit of time. Thank you, image editor, for vanishing and making me toggle away to find you again. Okay, looks goofy. Let's put our mask on. I'm going to go with the soft. Yep, and I got to toggle away and toggle back again. Yeah, I'm not sure I might need to tweak these some. Get better colors. This just, right now it looks weird. Maybe it'll look better when we render it. But I also have to do this for this. So this is good. We're going to accept. I think I'm going to just do it this way. Do I want to multiply this? No, I think I'm just going to accept the color. We got 3 minutes left. Okay. And then let's see how this looks. Let's just do a quick render. We're going to get a little bit of that translucency bleeding through though. And it kind of changes your color you kind of were looking for. All right, now we're impatiently waiting. Hopefully, oh, my stream's stuttering a little bit. The co-streaming puts a bit more stress on the OBS. I'm not gonna lie. StreamerBot does most of that locally. Hello, McFly. I might just cancel this and get the because this is going slow now. You know what's probably not helping is having this in the background. Control S on that. You know what? We're going to shut you down and call it a day. There we go. Actually, I like the way that looks when it renders. Maybe a little less bleed over the edge. Maybe not. Is that coming from my translucency though? That might be the translucency. We're gonna see if we can tweak that a little bit. You can see the distinct difference between here and here. I think that might just be the translucency color. There's no eyebrows. Well, she's got eyebrows. I would like to. I thinking about. Oh, yeah, she has no eyelashes. I tend not to work with the eyelashes on. I might make new eyelashes. We'll see, or we might make new textures for the eyelashes. Anyhow, we're going to apply this to the translucency. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to save this as a reference because I want to see if it actually makes a difference. And my difference, I think, will be right about in there. So, close that. Do this. I'm just going to stick it over here in my promos. And you know what? I'm going to make a new folder here just for the makeup. New folder. Went too fast. You go too fast, Windows says you can try to move into a folder Windows hasn't quite created just yet. Lips 01. I'm going to save that. All right, now I'm going to adjust the LIE on the translucency color. We're going to render that. We're going to save it as a preset. Then we're going to rate out, call it a day because it's already 4 o'clock. Let's do this. Boom, boom. This is just the same drill we did on the other one. Although it would be nice if I could change that translucency color. Why in the world do you use a color map and then a translucency color? Oh, I shouldn't say that too loud. Jay did this. Let me see if how this works. I think I'm still going to get that blend zone because of the difference between this and this. If there was a way to mask that out. Here's where LIEs get tricky. If this was just a geo shell, it would sit on top and I wouldn't have to worry about that bleeding in translucency color. That's why I'm thinking I might end up just doing geo shells for makeup. Anyhow, I'm going to finish this up and then call it a day. Although in the end, I may not go with LIEs. Once again, we're back at the arms. I'm going to grab the lips. Going to grab our lip color. We're going to add our image mask. I'm going to use the soft one like we did before. This will probably go away, and then I'm going to, hey, it stayed. Yay, accept. All right, we're going to just do a render on this. Hopefully this goes a little faster. I don't need Photoshop open in the background anymore either. We can shut that down for now. But I gotta save. I want to save this file. Save as. I'm gonna stick that into my whip folder. Then I think I can get rid of these. All right, now I'm going to do a render. Hopefully this doesn't take as long. Hopefully shutting down Substance and shutting down Photoshop takes a little bit of... No, Photoshop did not hear that. I'm still getting that blurry zone there. I think I'm just going to have to tighten that mask up or something. Or do it with the Geo Shell. I might just have to do it with the Geo Shell. I'm going to see how that looks. By the way, good to see you, SRAM Music. How are you doing, buddy? You on tonight? I think it was last week we were hanging out watching strange German. Was it German? Was it Faust? Was Faust last week or was that the week before? I can't remember. No, there was the Japanese one last week, I think. Anyhow, making progress. I actually like the colors when it renders. I just need to kind of tighten up the zone because it looks it's going past a little too far. So I'm going to probably tweak that a little bit. What I'm thinking. Anyhow, and that might be my soft map. I might tweak the soft map. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. We're going to stop this render. Call it a day. Actually, I got to say my LIE preset before I forget. Let's do that, and then we're going to call it a day. Layered image preset. There we go. Save you right here. I'm just going to call you, I have no idea what I'm calling this stuff, so this is just going to be lips red. Save that. And I think this is good. Just taking a quick peek at what we've got down here. Yep, all right, accept that. Is good. Getting stuff together, drinking coffee. Faust the week before. Page of Madness was last week. Okay, cool. Anyhow, everybody, check out SRAM Music. Give them a follow. One of the coolest cats on Twitch. Does improv music. Most does improv music. Sometimes the silent films. A lot of times, actually. You get there early and he's just doing improv music, and then he rolls a film and plays music to that. Just an awesome, awesome sounding stream. You doing a shout out here? I think it is an SROM command. Didn't I do an SROM command? Did Charles already do that? What I should do is grab one of your sound clips and add it to the command. Yeah, you don't have a sound yet. I got to give you a sound. Um, Anyhow, thank you all for being here. We have made a rocket exhaust and we played with lips today. So appreciate it. We will be back tonight, 8 p.m. for the Saturday Night Social. It's an art share. It's a Discord chat. It's an old cartoon. Feel free to join the Discord if you haven't already. If you post stuff in the gallery, we will share it tonight at 8 o'clock. Hey, no worries. You are so cool, man. I love your stuff, honestly. And I'm glad to see you streaming. It makes my life better. Honestly. Anyhow, we are good. Next real art stream will be Monday, 2 p.m. More 3D stuff. I'm not sure what we're doing then. But in the meantime, I hope to see you tonight. And I am doing the Saturday Night Socials on YouTube now. So we're doing it on both channels. Decided not to do it on YouTube initially because I wasn't sure how to, but then I said, screw it. We're on both. Anyhow, so let's do this. Let's find a raid target. So if anybody's on YouTube, thank you. And hasta la vista for the YouTube. I will catch you later. If you're on Twitch, feel free to stick around and join the raid. Oh, has she been co-streaming? I keep missing that. I have missed seeing her on Twitch. I have seen peeks of her. If you're not a sub, you can use that every Friday. Well, there's my problem. I have to keep an eye out on Fridays. Here is the sub raid stream. Although I might be raid or modding Gree at the same time. It depends. But let's find somebody to raid over on Twitch. Let's do that. Check that. And Charles, once again, thank you for that gift sub to Art. I appreciate that, man. So who is on the Twitch first today, this wonderful afternoon? It is Jack's. It's a Jack's having a stream anniversary, right? It's may not be on now. He might be on later today. That is Jack, aka Infozar. Kayfae Art is on. Whenever she's on and I can rate her, I like to rate her. She is an oil painter. 8:10 p.m. That is kind of like Gree time. It's no wonder I'm not catching you. Gree has been trying to do 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which unfortunately overlaps right with that. Which means if she catches me watching another stream, I'll be beaten again. We're going to go raid our good friend Kayfae Art. She's a wonderful oil painter. If you could stick around and join that, that would be awesome. Here is where we're heading. Shout out, Control V, do that, and let me start this raid. And thank you all for being here. If I don't see you tonight, I hope you have a good rest of a Saturday or Sunday if you're on the happy side of the planet. Control V, did that work? I think that's working. I think that's working. I think that's working. Never blame Soul for watching treats. Yeah. It's sometimes that's just the way it happens. You have to make your choices. And since I'm a mod over there, I feel like I should at least have her on in the background. I'm copying my raid call, and then we're going to go over and say hi to Kayfae Art. Let's do that. Copy, Control C. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. And hasta la vista, baby.